Hello, everyone. Ohio gozaimasu. Welcome to Ohio Anime. Irashaimase. Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is John. I'm joined as always by Andrea here on our anime podcast. Tonight, we're talking Jujutsu Kaisen. Andrea, how's it going?
It is good. It is Friday, and I've made it through a week of solo parenting, so I am accomplished. No matter what
Nice.
happens from here on in, I have made it the full week.
Very
I have
good.
only 3 more days to go.
3 more days. Okay.
Three more
So
days.
Monday, huh?
Yes.
So he comes home just in time to enjoy St. Patrick's Day.
Yes. I'm missing both his children's birthdays, but yet we can make it for St. Patty's. Priorities.
Yep. Okay, well, perfect. If anyone, double check your mic settings, Andrea. I think it's just me again. Yeah. I remember last week we had issues too, where I thought things sounded funny and it wasn't. It was coming through nice and clear. So, but if everything's good there, then it's probably on my end. But anyone listening, make sure you like, share, subscribe. Let us know how we sound. Make sure our mic check for us. All right.
Check 1, 2.
Because we don't have, on the anime shows, we don't have our amazing Alan for our technical directing. So we just got to figure it out ourselves. But yeah, anyways, tonight, as I said, is Jujutsu Kaisen night. We were supposed to have Phil here. Unfortunately, casual Phil, smoking jacket Phil, whatever, is kind of laid back. Aura farming is not here tonight, sadly, but we'll continue on, persevere on without him. So, but before we get into that, so tonight, as this is live, we're live now on YouTube, X, Twitch, and Rumble, which I forgot to pull up actually. So I'll have to pull that up. But there is a new episode of Jujutsu Kaisen tonight. I never keep track well of when these things are, when the new episodes are hitting and stuff. So
that's fair.
Yeah, I imagine you haven't seen the latest one then, like tonight's episode. Okay.
No.
Yeah.
No, I was actually going into Crunchyroll today for something else to watch and noticed that a new JJK had dropped. I was like, dang it. I was just about to feel so accomplished. We were all caught up. And then, they were like, no, you can't have it too good.
Yeah. So, okay. So you're going in the Crunchyroll for something else to watch. What's that? What else you been watching?
Just more of our shows, really. I've just moved a little bit ahead on Freerun, on Tojima, and on Hell's Paradise. And then I also finished, finally, Season 2 of Campfire Cooking in Another World is my absurd skill. So.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Just chugging along on old familiar favorites. Yeah, nothing new that I've watched, although I did mark something that I wanted to. Oh, where did you go? Let's see.
I'm looking while you're looking that up. I really having trouble with our podcast stuff on Rumble because I'm so confused. It's like I accidentally have 2 accounts. If I search for Popcast, our Popcast on the Rocks channel shows up.
Okay.
But if you go into that, it doesn't show us live. and it doesn't show like our updated banner or anything like that. But on the
Huh.
side, under follow, it shows Popcast that we're live. It's like somehow if I make I
Okay.
somehow I made 2 accounts is the thing, it seems. So
Oh,
I've gotta
okay.
get rid
Swoopsie.
of that's what it seems like here. And that's too bad because yeah, I don't know. Anyways, apologies for any sort of confusion you have going on over there on Rumble. We're trying to
For trying to find us.
yeah, we're trying to, spread out and get
Faking you
people out.
out.
Yeah. Anyways, did you find
Oh, yes. Shadow's house. Apparently
Shadows?
it's yes. Yes, apparently there's a second season that just dropped. But it's like a mystery. It's a mystery
Oh,
show.
okay.
Yeah. Where like a servant
So,
helps her mistress uncover the secrets of the house and the nobles that live there who are super creepy. But
okay.
it looked interesting. It looked kind of like mystery / maybe a little bit of horror. And I don't know
Yeah.
why, but I'm just kind of like in the mood for something a little gritty.
Okay. Well, it's only rated 12 plus for content, but it could still be disturbing in some fashion. Yeah, they
Yep.
says express their emotions through living dolls that also
Right?
really clean the home of soot. Hmm. Okay, well, it's
Yeah,
reviewed.
that part, the cleaning of the soot, I didn't get, but everything else seemed really interesting to me. So I was like, I'm gonna give this a shot, and I
Sure.
just marked it to start later. So hopefully I'll
There's
get
a
to do that.
something, and I'll share. I might as well share this. Um, there's a little something promised Neverlandy about
Right?
looking at this. I particularly look at this thumbnail here for anyone watching for episode 6. We got this blonde-haired kid. We got like every hair
Yep.
color you could have, but they're all kids that are kind of like formal looking, and then stack on that top of that creepy other people that they deal with. I don't know. It seems
Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't thinking that, but I definitely think now that you've said it, that's probably part of what intrigued me about this show.
sure.
Promise Neverland first season was so good.
Yeah.
So,
It
so good.
it's in we went I had Phil an episode for a while, quite a while ago, and went over like our top 10 basically anime, and
Mm.
that was that was in there. I had to find that again. We got to do an updated one of those, see if it's changed at all.
Yeah,
But
still makes the cut.
yeah. Okay, well, I added it to my list here. We'll see. Oh well. Okay, this restream has updated a little bit, so there's a few things that are different now. Yeah, it's one of those things. I've been kind of in the place where Phil said he has been, where I'm not really looking for new stuff because there's so
Yep.
many other things. I'm already feeling bad because Ashley just finished season 2 of Apothecary Diaries. And
Okay.
like I haven't I'm only a few episodes in on season 2 or whatever, and
Oh, okay.
it's just one of those things where I want to watch it, but we never have time to watch it with the other things we're trying to do. So, I'm not gonna say, well, don't
Yes.
watch it. You go ahead, watch it. I can, if I really gets to it, I can watch it separately, whatever. If we
Right.
want to talk about it here, I can always power through it. So, you're caught up on that, huh?
I am, yeah. But I was kind of like in your position for a while where I'd gotten, I don't know, slightly more into the season, maybe almost halfway or something, and I stopped and didn't realize it just it's like it continues on and suddenly you don't realize how far behind you are until you go to check on it and you're like, "Holy cow." So I
Yeah.
did end up powering through the end of the season, but kept it for quite longer than I thought I had. So I had
Okay.
to go catch up.
Yep. Yeah. Well, she really liked it. So
Yeah.
it makes me extra jealous that
It's good. It's good.
uh,
Apothecary Diaries is still one of those like really great shows.
mhm. Yeah, and they're gonna continue, it looks like this fall. So October or something is another season. They're doing a movie. I didn't look into what the movie is.
Oh,
If it's like a recap, like they like to do compressed part of a
sure.
story, or if it's a in between seasons or whatever. Because from the sounds of it is, I don't know much of anything, but it sounds of it is season 2 kind of really wraps a lot of things up. So I could see them
Mhm.
trying to do some sort of digestible movie version of
Yeah.
this story so far.
Let's see. Apothecary Diaries movie.
But we
It's
can,
gonna be in December. Oh, interesting. So it's gonna release alongside the third season.
okay.
Wacky. No, it's
Mm,
gonna be a brand new story.
okay. Interesting.
Interesting. Yeah. That's kind of unusual. Usually, like you said, there's some kind of like bridging effect happening
Hmm.
with between seasons, not that, we get both at the same time almost.
Right.
Because
Yep.
I imagine season 3 will still be running in December. Well, I mean, maybe. Depends. But Apothecary Diaries seasons have been trending longer than like, the 12 or 13 um, like half seasons that we can kind of get sometimes.
Right. Yep. Um, this is something interesting I had saw when looking at, just looking for maybe that news story
Mhm.
is they have. I'm very confused. So Oshinoko was an
Mhm.
anime that was really highly spoken of. Actually, I watched some of it. It was only on High Dive, and we got rid of High Dive, so we can't watch it anymore. But it looks like it's on Crunchyroll now.
It is.
But it's very
Yes.
confusing at how it like maybe it's a glitch on my end. It shows 3
Oh,
versions of season 1 and 3 versions of season 3.
no, no, no. I have the same thing. I think
Okay.
sorry, my phone is like, but you get the gist. This is how the seasons are listed.
Yeah. So
It's like, yeah, there it
there it
goes.
is.
Season yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So yeah, so there's something wrong there.
what
I'm
was
hoping it's
happening?
just the display.
Yeah, I don't know. Because
But that's weird.
yeah, it is. Because it would be really unfortunate for it to be on here and then you can't watch season 2. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Oh yeah, no,
So,
it's weird. I mean, I don't know if they accidentally mislabeled season 2 or 3, but if you scroll through it, so I just thought maybe I would test it, by not doing the drop down, but
mhm.
instead using, the bottom of the screen to go next season.
Yep.
And it does have season 1 3 times, and you keep clicking next season, and then suddenly it goes to season 3.
Right. So no season 2.
So, I mean, I
And
don't
the
think so, but also I haven't watched Oshinoko, so I don't know if they accidentally mislabeled season 2 as season 3 or if it really
no,
is season 3
because
cuz I don't
because
know. Do you know what I'm
the
trying to say
episode
though?
names are the same, and it looks like
Oh,
they're
okay.
showing different, like, they're mixing in, some of them are saying Spanish dubs. So I don't know. I don't know if this
Yeah,
just happened or what. Something's wrong. Something's wrong here.
something I find that very strange, the order in which Crunchyroll sometimes will list things because it'll make it look like it's dubbed. Like you say, you see dubbed Spanish and you think, "Oh, it's not dubbed in English yet," but it actually is. 'Cause
Mm,
that's the way suddenly things started getting listed for Tojima, And I thought, oh gosh, like the dub isn't out yet. And then all of a sudden I was checking it and it would just start to play in English.
Okay.
So some weirdness happens sometimes when they upload episodes where stuff gets out of order, things are listed differently, so you think like something has changed when really it hasn't.
Okay.
I don't know.
Here's a new thing for you. This is the staff pick section or editors picks in Crunchyroll, and one of them is Fate
Mm.
Strange Fake. And this is like
Yeah, I
some of the
saw
fake
that.
stuff. So, yeah. Okay.
Ooh,
Well, yeah, I'm behind on stuff. Basically, I've watched some Dragon Ball Z. I've watched the Jujutsu Kaisen we're going to talk about, and then I've read some Dawn to Dawn, volume 15 of Dawn to Dawn. So
okay. You've
that's
been
basically what.
busy too. Hi, little visitor. One moment, please.
Okay. Well, Andrea is talking with her little kid there. Let's I'm going to show you this list of editors picks that I think is kind of interesting here. Which one are we on? Yeah, here we go. Here, editors picks on Crunchyroll. So some of them are really pretty expected. Frieren, Jujutsu Kaisen. The Sentence to be a Hero I've added to my queue, and I'm interested. But again, I can only handle so much, hero this or that, shonen kind of thing. So it's got to really stand out at this point. Something to be something different. If you feel that is something really different, let me know. And then this Fate Strange Fake stood out because I remember not, a while ago, you go to the anime conventions and it was really popular to have, certain shows that looked extra impressive in their music videos, the AMVs, and Fate Stay or whatever, something that Andrea watched a bunch of, was often featured. And I kind of hadn't really heard people talk about it much since. So the fact that this one's in here is interesting. Oshinoko. So now that it's here, and whatever kind of weird season lineup they have, hopefully that's fixed, or I'm just misunderstanding something. Trigun. I'm happy to see that one, but I'm not
Hola.
that. Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Bien, gracias, y tú?
Muy bien, Andrea.
Sorry for the short interruption.
Nope,
Everett,
no worries.
Everett has taken to wandering of a nighttime because she is a night owl like me and just has a hard time going to bed. So
okay.
She's just in one of her phases where she invents stuff to need at bedtime.
Sure. Yeah. Our daughter's just in this thing now where she'll like say, I need to, she wants to just sit on the potty for longer and read or something like that. It's like, I don't think you need to go to the bathroom anymore. You just don't want to go to bed.
Yeah, exactly.
So, okay. Well, we might as well move on here and actually get into Jujutsu Kaisen. I will get some stuff for that pulled up. So, give us your breakdown of. I want to hear what you have thought of this season thus far, where we talked before we got into these episodes. Then I'll kind of do my best to overview what we just watched, and then we'll discuss those.
Sure. I feel like this season has been uneven, but slightly less so than kind of the trouble I feel like I've had with the previous season. We started really hot with some good, like a good double feature episode to introduce the season. And I think, both Phil and I were feeling much the same, where the visuals were absolutely stunning. They just jumped right into the story. Things were moving ahead. We were kind of a little bit even though there were fights, they were a little bit distant from the kind of repetitive, nonstop, just sort of like drag the action out fights that we were seeing at the end of the Shibuya incident. Um, so they were fights with meaning, which I enjoy about JJK. So yeah, it was a strong start, and then we got kind of slammed to a halt with some later exposition that we maybe skipped over in the first couple of episodes to kind of, start the season with a bang. And then I think we picked it back up in our preparation for this, you know, this full immersion into the culling game. We had a lot of information thrown at us, and then we got to see characters act on that information and start to set up plans for when the culling game for them would start. And then now I have a mix of episodes where there were some things that were really interesting, and there were some things that were not. There were more fights that I wasn't terribly anxious that they should happen. I got a little bit more exposition that I wasn't sure I was going to remember. So I'm just it's a bit of uneven pacing for me and a bit uneven storytelling, but it's not this last set of episodes that we watched, the change of pace wasn't quite as jarring as the first one was, that I really had a problem with, and I was super disappointed in the action. So
Okay.
I'm having a hard time kind of grasping how I feel about this season. It's a little back and forth.
I'm completely in the same spot. When we talk about season 2, the kind of endless fights. But when we look at season 2, the first arc going back, and we've talked about this, but the first arc going back into the past and Gojo and Geto's past was, I think, other than a little exposition stuff, really beautiful and well done. And so it's like kind of starting on a high note, and then we move into the Shibuya incident stuff proper. And again, I was said over at the time, it's like over directed, not really. It was like highly directed. It was really cool looking, and
Mhm.
and then it just started to devolve, and
Yes. It was
and
dragging.
never, yeah. But it did feel like it was the same show, and like everything
Mhm.
connected. And so far in season 3 now, it feels really disjointed. I'll echo what you said with the first 2 opening episodes we got. It looked gorgeous. It was a cool setup. We didn't know what was going to happen with some other characters, like how was Itadori going to get away? And so some of those things were answered quickly, and it was good. But then, yes, on to the crazy exposition, and now like they're having fun introducing new people and things and concepts, and it just makes it feel like I'm losing the plot here, even though I
Mhm.
understand that we're dealing with the culling game and that's what's happening. It's just you'll be like launched into something about someone that you have no idea who they are or anything, and we take up a valuable amount of time doing this. We're just
Mhm.
losing forward momentum. So,
Yes.
I and these next episodes, I feel only continue that sort of trend that we can talk
Okay.
about. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, so kind of recapping a little bit just what we're going over here. So this is episodes 53 through 56. So basically the latest except for tonight's episode.
Mhm.
And we get to this whole thing where Itadori and Panda and everything are trying to get the help of some people in this club. We're continuing that sort of thing. And we have a sort of fight sequence to manage that. And that ends up working out for them. And they get into going into the barrier. They're both officially players now in the culling game.
Mhm.
And they both are separated and find new different people that will say they're going to help them locate the
Mhm.
person they're looking for. We find out one is going to help them, but they're not telling the whole story, and the other one is just totally trying to set them up a trap. And that leads to another fight for Itadori, and we get to be seeing what exactly kind of deal or whatever is going to be made on the other side. And that's basically what we got. That's pretty much
Mhm.
what happened here. And do you have any immediate thoughts to these few episodes?
Yeah. I enjoyed the first episode, kind of everybody coming together and working out what it is they all want from each other, who's telling the truth, what does it mean, um yeah, like these couple of old graduates from JJK who are like, "Yeah, I don't really want you to be from JJK. We're not cool with them anymore." And they're like, "Yeah, but we're not." And also Gojo's gone. I I enjoyed the eventual realization that was the truth, and everybody was just like, "Holy, like Gojo, shit's going down now."
Right.
Um so yeah, so I enjoyed that first episode where we kind of worked it all out amongst each other, how everybody was going to help. Once we got our big fight scene done, which I liked because it was like a big group fight scene. And everybody
Okay.
had like little parts to play, and I kind of enjoyed the interchange between a little bit of everybody. I didn't love the, explanation of Rin, I think her name is, her powers.
Hmm.
I could have gone with something shorter or less, focused, but I'll allow it because it was kind of interesting for them to figure out. And we haven't had like a this person's power is blah in a while. So I was like, all right,
Sure.
it's a gimme. Um, but then, I liked them working out, okay, so we need to change the game because we need this rule added and we need this rule added. So we need to figure out like the info, we need to find the players, we need to, get where we need to go. I still don't know who Tsumiki is, who can't enter the game, but okay, we're trying to prevent that, so that's a goal, I guess, and I'll learn about it later. Um but yeah, once we got in there, I was not as interested in Megami and Yuji fighting like their parallel battles and then Yuji fighting alone again. I'm kind of over Yuji fighting by himself. That's all he seems to be doing lately is
Mm.
having to fight.
Okay.
And I'm just not into that right now. I don't want that. It's when somebody has like a big solo fight like Yuji just had against this new character that we're introduced to. That's when I sort of like feel myself losing steam, losing momentum because we got a big long
Mm.
character backstory for this brand new person, and then they had this huge long back and forth between him and Itadori where they're like, "Oh, he's tough, he's tough. Oh, he can't use cursed energy. Oh, he's just like physically strong." All things I've heard before. And then they end it in a way that I wasn't really sure why and how it all worked.
Okay.
So, yeah, this last episode made me lose a little momentum there.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what exactly it is, but yeah, it is a momentum problem we're having here, a disjointedness. I think that this whole battle at the beginning here, like you say, there was a group thing, but this is where I checked out. I'm like,
Sure.
it's like, okay, it's a constellation, and they're going over all the possible rules and stuff. It's like, wow, I don't care. I just could not care at all. Unless this is critical for me to be able to figure out later,
Sure.
I just have to trust that they know the rules, and when we see her using her powers, they work.
Sure.
You know,
Sure.
I think it's because otherwise, I don't know. Am I supposed to sit there in a future battle and be like, oh, it's because they didn't touch this part here, and
Sure.
so they're gonna get messed up. I'm not memorizing these her combat rules here, and
Totally. So I agree with you in the way that, like, I wish the explanation would have been shortened. Just knowing that, like, hey, my power is a constellation. There's pieces that touch that are drawn together like magnets, and their pieces repel like magnets. That's all you needed, because that was funny. You know, when they were
Mhm.
trying to like throw stuff at each other and be like, don't worry, you're gonna attract it, or like, don't worry, it's gonna repel you, like throwing a car at somebody.
Yep.
That's funny. You know, like that brevity was all I needed. Cool,
Yeah.
magnets, polar opposites or polar attraction.
Right. It would have been, I think, fun if we had, they had to tell this visually. You'd have Megami trying to sort this out. So basically,
Yes.
they're trying to get through this mess. They're getting thrown together and
Yep.
thrown apart and all this sort of thing. And you just start seeing like Megami
Patterns.
register different things. Yes. It's like
Mhm.
you notice the things labeled on people, and then you cut back to close up of his eyes. And then he looks and he sees another one. And you just
Yes.
see that he's connecting dots.
Yes.
And then it's flipped. And all of a sudden he pulls something off.
Y
As an audience, we don't need to know what exactly it was. We just
Right.
understood he figured it out. They told us
Right.
that visually. And then at the end, she can be like, how did you figure that out? It's like, I guess
Right.
I know my constellations. And
Right.
like it can be some sort of little thing because she's flabbergasted as
Small
well that she,
explanation.
right,
Yeah.
a small little thing because you know, and he can have a follow-up question like, I kind of guessed that this would be the case. She's like, well,
And
that
then
was a
she
good guess because
confirms.
this is
Yeah.
how, yeah, but short. And
Yes. Yes.
that's a major scene change as opposed to him and Panda up on the
Right.
upper level discussing this, and we get into like a zoom out of a visualization and like how what are we
Yes.
doing here?
Yes. I do agree with you there, and I think the key phrase that you said was, we could tell this visually. We
Mhm.
needed less inner monologuing from everybody as they realized that people were figuring stuff out, you know. I didn't need the inner commentary of like, "Huh, how did he know?" and, "Oh, I see her power." And, "Is there 4 or 5 constellations or 5 stars in the constellation?" I didn't need that. I agree with you there.
Mhm.
I like the concept of this fight. I found some funny parts in it, but I could have had a power condense
Yeah,
speech at the end.
it's we're running into where um again we I'm finding more and more with anime that there is it's like a Star Wars prequel trilogy situation. The people fall in love because of the overarching themes and character drama and like the big picture things that happen. But the execution of getting point A to point B is feeling really sloppy.
Yeah.
And if you're, again, these are shonen, so it's targeting a younger audience, but you can target a younger audience without making it stupid, without like either
Mhm.
talking down to someone or because a younger audience is going to check out of this stuff too. Like they're not going to,
Mhm.
and it won't, that's the thing, it won't matter to them. So you're adding all this detail that won't matter to a younger audience because they're waiting to see the cool thing on screen. And
Mhm.
then an older audience with a more critical eye is going to be like, this is just clunky, and why I had to sit through this. I don't know. I don't know.
As we are
It's
doing.
yes, as we are doing. Yes, it's frustrating that and it's a little surprising because when you look at season 1 of this show, there was so much less of that. It
Mhm.
just lost. It just went off the rails, and I picture it like just writing it and just having so much fun coming up with new rules and complicated powers. It's like Chainsaw Man the movie. The girl controls bombs. She can be transformed into like a bomb girl herself and like control bombs and explosions. That's it. That means no
Mhm.
time has to be wasted on what she
Right.
can and can't do, which
Right.
is exactly what it would be, a waste. If you have to develop powers that are so complicated that you have to take whole episodes to explain them, it's a waste
Mm-hmm.
of time. I just but maybe not to someone, maybe to someone that's exactly what they want. It's like, "Ooh,
Sure.
new addition to the rules, newest power that I can, like, analyze," and I don't know. If you're out there, please let me know.
Yeah. I mean, this talking about this kind of like brought up one of my difficulties with the last episode because I was both simultaneously interested in our new character and yet also put off by his fight with Yuji.
Mm,
You know what I mean? Like I thought we got back into a domain. We'd let domains go for like a hot minute. And this
yeah.
character creates a domain and it's courtroom and there was a judge, jury, executioner kind of
Mhm.
style. And I was just sort of like, that's simple, that's straightforward. Like I don't need crazy explanations here. I get what's happening. Um, you know,
Yep.
and it was a cool setup, like guillotines surround the
Yes.
outer limits of the domain. I liked that, and then like I said, they got into like this brawl with each other that was like really extended, and the coolness of that and the coolness of this guy's like gavel weapon kind of being something that he could use and transform got overshadowed by the fact that I was like, God, it's like another battle where they're just like monologuing about how crazy strong they are. And
Mm,
I was a little like, meh.
mhm. Yeah, I guess I didn't run into the same kind of, you find the same qualms there. Uh,
Sure.
it's I totally get what you're saying. I think that I was it was jarring to begin with when we started with a couple different characters in an office, again,
Yeah,
out
I
of
didn't
nowhere,
love that.
It
I could
I
have
feel
just
like
jumped to this guy and his power and then be like, I
yeah.
used to be a lawyer.
I in the end, I really enjoyed the backstory. I really enjoyed it, but if the season already needs to find a rhythm, and then it threw this in there. Eh,
Yep.
I think a season can afford 1 or 2 of these types of things, big moments,
Right.
that are explaining an important character and their backstory, but often that will come after a time where we need a breather. It's like time for a
Yes.
little aside from what's
Yes.
happening. Whereas, like, in this, we're really just trying to get into it. Feels like we're
Yeah.
trying to get going. So
Yeah.
though I liked how it
This
was executed, the placement of it and the timing didn't
wrong.
work.
Mhm.
Mhm.
This reminds me of we were discussing Tojima last time and how there was an episode in there where we suddenly got Ramen Girl and her background and these other guys who were,
Yes.
and in the moment I sort of was like, this is super weird. And then afterwards I was like, no, that was okay. This kind of all worked out. There was like a tie-in and we'd been chugging along in the season and we're really established with Tojima. So that's the
Mhm.
kind of thing where like I was briefly put off and then it like kind of came back together within the larger storyline and I was happy with it. This feels like the opposite. This feels like they did the same thing, but it's not as successful as that
Right.
is.
Yep. Yep. No, I agree. And yeah, I've never been opposed, especially when we can watch it like this. It's not even necessarily watching it one a week, where
Mhm.
you have an episode that's an aside, a backstory thing, and um, then you move on. But because I'm interested in new character, I think he's cool. But yeah, and the point of it was so the point was to show a cool fight, but disguised as a way for Itadori to feel for exoneration. It's like literally in the courtroom sense, but
Mhm.
he's being judged by someone with very like hard and fast rules about this, that he's innocent and killing all those people was not his fault because he did
Right.
not have control of himself. It's something he's still dealing with, was ready to end it all and all this sort of thing because of it. Makes sense, the weight of this and all that. So this is trying to clear him and help him free his conscience of that sort of thing. So I think that's good. I think that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah,
But
that
they had to fight
I
right now either, like, I don't know.
yeah. Yeah, this feels like something that could have happened a little bit later
Sure.
in the season. I mean, do I want Yuji to like feel some sort of like guilt forever? No. But we weren't really dealing with that in the current moment. We were just sort of
Right.
like, I'm making plans. We need to figure out the culling game. We need to figure out a plan of action. We were here in our plan of action, and I was there. We were moving forward, and we could, I don't know. I just feel like we could have gone back to and circled back to the guilt later.
Yep. Yep. And we just didn't need to have Itadori and this guy fight, I think. Just in general, Yuji doesn't do a good job of being a good negotiator here. He's like,
Yeah,
let me
he's not the best,
rephrase
like,
this.
yeah,
You're
he's,
gonna do it. Like, well, how are you gonna make me actually? You're like, what? Are you gonna kill
yeah.
me? Well, then you can't, right? Or do you get the points? Do you get I guess you get the. Do you get
You get the,
the collective
oh,
points if you kill him?
yeah,
But he's willing to do that because Itadori doesn't like killing people.
right. That's another thing. I felt like this last couple of episodes was very designed to focus on specific culling game rules, and I was already like, dang, I forgot so many. Because now I really feel like I'm set up to remember these last few about, like how many days you have to go between like levels of points changing. Oh, this guy wants to know like names, ranks, and your level of points and if they've changed. And now we have a new rule about, you can transfer points between people that you want. But I was like, dang, I can't remember any of the other rules from Tengen's like info dump.
Uh-huh.
I don't
Yeah.
remember. So
Yep.
it just like highlighted for me how much like I think something is going to jump out in a later episode and they're just going to be like, haha, remember rule number 3? Bam. Plot point.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Well, and if there weren't enough rules, players get to add them now. So,
Yes. And we've had 2 added within the last couple of episodes.
mhm,
And
mhm.
everybody on our team JJK wants to add one more about Sumiki.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, not about Sumiki, but like about players leaving the game because they don't
Right.
want Sumiki there.
Hmm. So is went to retrial be for the same thing? I was super confused there. It's like I declare
Yeah.
retrial. Well, it's not a new lawsuit now. What are you talking
Right.
about? Like, wait
Right.
a minute. So what's going on with that?
Yeah, clearly there's some like fudgy rules about, legality and the charges there. That wasn't
Yeah.
exactly a perfect model of the legal system.
I mean, it's like you're, we've already litigated you on one thing. So if you retrial, it's for another thing if you
Yeah.
have it. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, the way they introduced that, where he was like, I have evidence here. You kind of have to guess what it is. And
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like it was very like it's a magic show masquerading as, your courtroom trial, your courtroom hearing. So that was a little bit weird. But I also when they announced like, okay, now here's your second charge, I was kind of like, yeah, sure.
It definitely is it's a very OP power. It's kind of crazy that it's unique. I like the creepy
Mhm.
factor of the blind justice there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fun stuff about it that way. I think is a good addition, this character.
Mhm.
So, I don't know. It's so back and forth. Like I ultimately enjoyed this fight enough. I saw what it was for. Um, and I liked the kind of creepy sort of setup too, like the both Itadori and Megami were being led in different ways, and it was they kind of played that nicely, making us feel a little uncomfortable of like who's leading us where and why. If they did a
Yeah.
good job making me feel like both were up to something no good.
Yeah, for
Which
sure.
they both kind of were, but you're like, maybe one is honest here and maybe one isn't, and whatever.
Yeah, did you I mean, I definitely got the same feeling and it shook out exactly how I felt it was going to. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
Like I definitely felt the kid leading Yuji was going to be like withholding some information but not directly shoving him into a trap.
Right.
Because he seemed like, oh, I knew you from from middle school, and you were kind of cool. So I felt like he was enough. There would be enough guilt there if he led him straight into just like a killing trap or something.
Okay.
But whereas like the girl definitely right off the bat, I was like, oh yeah, she's gonna try some pull some shit. So yeah, so it shook out. Like I said, it shook out exactly the way I thought it was going to.
Okay. Yeah. No, that makes sense. Well, what do you so overall I feel like we're kind of in the same spot here. You know,
Yeah,
there's some really good looking things. There's been some really fun episodes, gorgeous episodes, some good
yeah.
music. You know, it's high production value. It's just
Mm-hmm.
kind of all over the place. And we spend a lot of time with weird exposition or introducing new people or whatever, and it's just like I want the drama of the thing. I want to feel like we're,
Yes.
it's a train that's moving forward and gaining steam, and just not
Yes.
we're not there.
Yeah. Yeah, they have a lot of interesting threads. They just haven't been woven cohesively. We don't have this like overall like momentum. Yeah, it's that's all it is. It's we don't have this like singular driving momentum where like we feel all the threads will come together. Right now they feel sort of loose and unconnected and constantly interrupted or constantly cut off without being, you know, coming together. So I don't know. It's really hard to put my finger on this season and how I feel about it because I really want to keep watching and keep liking it, and there are really some great pieces that give me hope, and then those hopes will just get kind of slapped in the face by something
Hmm.
totally out of pocket.
Yeah, because I remember, last year or something talking about Demon Slayer and
Mm,
how it seemed like you cover a couple episodes and everyone would be, oh, well, I guess we're in the same fight again. There'd be like two groups fighting and you'd have 3 episodes and or more, and it's just kind of the fight over the
yeah,
course of the thing. But maybe I preferred that because it's simple. I understood what's happening, and
right.
like I understand the important fight that has to happen here. And when we reach a resolution of that, then so it's not like it's not plot heavy, but the action all makes sense.
Mhm.
You know, this feels like it is plot heavy, but it doesn't know how to grapple with that.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but
Yeah, it's almost like there are too many ideas and you know, they're not coming together towards an end. There's just like, this seems cool. We could do that.
yeah, I mean, it's like it's like the be Hunter x Hunter. Okay, there's gonna be this tournament. Any martial arts anime, it's gonna be a tournament. That's what this
Of
is this
course. Of
season. It's a
course.
tournament season. So it's like, okay, the players gather. We get introduced to the players. You know, we see them standing on the sides or whatever, and they look cool. We don't get much of a backstory of them. They just look cool. And who are these guys? Maybe someone says they're from wherever, you know. And then it's like next people up to fight, you know. And so it's a really linear sort of thing, but there can be a lot of drama there between almost dying. What power do they have to pull out of the other sleeve to finish them
Right.
off or not, you know, and all the sort of things. Some of your people that are on your side die or lose, and some succeed that you wouldn't expect it or whatever, you know, like there's all kinds of drama to be had in a tournament style thing. That Yu Hakusho is done, Dragon Ball is done, you know, Flame of Wreck, whatever, all of them, they've all done it. So I get they're trying to do maybe a different sort of tournament. It doesn't have it's more of a Hunger Games style. You know, it's more of what's the anime equivalent that really Hunger Games is like, based about like a battle royale.
Yeah.
You know, it's really that sort of thing. But you know, let's get to it then. And again, you can't just have the fight. There has to be the drama within the fight to make the fight feel meaningful and important. And I'm not saying that's easy to do, but a lot of shows
Right.
have done it, and it's quite compelling when it does. You know, we even had the small tournament in Tojima, you know, and that's was interesting. Like, we don't know who's going to come out on top or whatever, and all this sort of thing. And it's done in a, you know, humorous way. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but even that it felt like it had a solid sense of exactly what it wanted to do. You know, and it didn't happen the way that I as a viewer expected it would, but I felt like the writers knew what they wanted to do with it. This still feels a little, you know, a little jumbled, that I'm not sure that the writers know exactly where they're going with this. And it's just like, oh yeah, we are going to get there, but first, like, I need like this cool thing, and totally we can include this cool thing. It's like it's almost too inclusive and too like, oh yeah, we had this cool idea, we should do it. Sometimes you have cool ideas, but they don't serve, you know, the plot or the narrative, and you know, you got to be tough and kill your darlings. And I don't know
Right.
that JJK is capable of doing that right now.
Right. Yeah, there is you know, I feel like there should be a team or a force or something that is like, we're going in and we're doing the fighting. We're going to try to get rid of as many bad hombres as possible in here, get the points on our side, all this sort of thing. Meanwhile, you have a specialized force that's trying to sneak in and achieve these other means. So someone else is trying to, you know, get this other person for their power, or they're trying to get to find them on the other side of the world and use this, and like all the things that they can do to hopefully shut down the tournament. Meanwhile, we have a main force of people we know, of powers we don't need to explain, that are going in trying to deal with it. And you can even do the sort of setup like it's a little bit of an honor system where you get in there in these different zones, and they're like, okay, we're here, and some of the zones are like, you know, Bushido away, we're one-on-one, you know, we're taking it, take someone from your side, someone from your side, don't interfere, you know, that could be one zone. Another zone could kind of be all, you know, battle royale, and we get those fights going. And so we can slow down with moments of this sort of an infiltrator team with their outside objectives. We can slow the pace, and then we can cut back to the tournament occurring inside the zones and whatever, and have the battle going. But they wouldn't be able to help themselves with every new person they encounter to have most of the episode be explaining what that person is capable of doing. The few exceptions you get is like propeller head coming in. Okay, no explanation needed. He flies with a propeller on his head, you know.
Right. The hair is the power.
Yes, I vastly prefer that, you know, at this point. I see what we're facing here, and we're going to deal with it and whatever. So I don't know. There's a way. What I'm saying is, I know there's a way to make this all work together and be a seamless thing.
Well, and as you were kind of describing a potential idea for how we move the plot forward, I was thinking about that and thinking, well, yeah, what's really been bothering me about kind of the last couple of episodes. It's like we have a lot of goals here, and I feel like they're not all serving each other, and everybody's trying to do a lot. Like, so this past several episodes, they were trying to convince Rin and the blonde guy who runs like the
Right.
fight club and is like all about passion. They're
Right.
like, we need you because we need to like use your knowledge and your power of dimensions because we got to go get Gojo. But now we're totally over here and we have to change rules in the culling game because we need points. We need this to happen. We don't need Sumiki to enter. Like, we got that countdown again that was like 7 days till Sumiki has to declare. And I was like, well, wait, what? Is somebody still gonna like go get Gojo? Like, like I'm not clear on what everybody's doing. It's very frenetic. So if you had, like you said, everybody come together, one team goes in and we're a distraction. We do the thing. We do the straight ahead battles. We draw a bunch of attention to ourselves. We make noise, we make a splash. While this team goes over and tries to like figure out how we free Gojo from the prison, this team is over here guarding Tengen because like surprise, somebody
Yeah.
else has ideas about how to fix this game, and Tengen's under fire now. So,
Yep.
like, these would be very simple objectives that could all, be happening at the same time, but would feel less chaotic
Hmm.
because we have very simple goals. And things could go sideways and chaos could be created, but we know that like this team is supposed to do this team is supposed to do this team is supposed to do this. Things went sideways, but I
Hmm.
know what everybody's doing and why, and I still feel mixed up right now.
And some of that could be just that because they sort of did their setup and we're this is who's doing what. But you start forgetting about those things or
Yes.
losing because it's going so slowly. And not that this is the first anime to like take its time and go slowly on something. But when it's a lot of things happening, the complication deserves like to move along here because we could have spent however many episodes it was like going to this place, Itadori and Megami, finding out Panda's in there, doing a fake fight with
Mhm.
Panda, going up top,
Loved
having
that.
the discussion, then out on the roof, and then having a fight, and then having another sort of conference. Like that was a lot of time. Whereas
Yeah.
that could have been, we could have been following another group doing
Yep.
something and achieving another goal, and we get a call, and Itadori is like, "All right, he's on our side. We've got him." And
Yep.
then the other person be like, "Oh, that went well. How they make that happen?" And then we do a super cut of like, you
Yeah.
know, fight, yell at each other, hug it out, handshake, we're good.
Yep.
It's like,
Yep.
you know, a few bumps and bruises, but don't ask or whatever. It's done. Like we had one thing achieved. Meanwhile, okay, whatever other thing. It just we don't
Yep.
need to spend multiple episodes on these
On
things
one
when
thing.
again we're gonna forget what is what is happening. We're gonna forget goals, and then the whole thing is gonna feel like it's not making any overall progress. So
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, it's too pondering right now. It's nothing is simple. Nothing is simple enough right now. Everything
mhm.
is either too overly complex or um just takes too much time
How cool
to
would
go
this
through.
guy's power reveal be? His domain stuff. Um, I should know I know his name here, but anyways, lawyer guy. If he's
Yeah. It begins with an H. It's like no.
Hiroka, um,
Uh
oh,
oh.
Hiromi Higuruma.
Yeah, there we go. I knew it was
Hiromi,
like two H's.
yeah, Hiromi. So if he was like on their side, he could kind of be convinced of like giving them the points, because he regrets the things he's done. He'd like to end some of this stuff. He doesn't want there to be more killing or whatever. And so he gives them the points. And then when they're fighting together at some point, things look bad. We still have no idea what this guy does. He's fighting mostly with this gavel and stuff, and that's cool and whatever. But then all of a
Right.
sudden, it's looking rough, and boom, domain expansion, and he's got some enemy locked in this, and we can learn about that enemy through his trial. Then we can have a
Right.
little aside, like, okay, what you've done. I don't know. That seems, but we just got it out of the way fast, and just
Yes.
done. No stakes, really, because Itadori wasn't gonna die. He's alive, so
Right.
you
Right.
know,
Nobody believed he was actually going to die.
yeah,
Yeah, I would have loved that, especially because as he was fighting with the gavel, I was thinking about his technique looking like Nobara's, and just like the way that he was like using the gavel a little bit, kind of hammer
sure,
esque.
yeah,
And I was just sort of like, oh, that could have just been like a moment where we just enjoyed that piece of it. And you're right, like he and Itadori fight. He's like, yeah, you convinced me, I'll give you the points and stuff. And he walks away, same as he does now, being all like,
yeah,
I don't know if I can spend time with you because you make me feel bad about the things I've done, but I'm also not your enemy per se right now. And then
right,
he comes and joins us in a later episode, and we get wabam, here's my domain, and suddenly somebody's on trial.
yeah. Some sort of big, thing where our heroes are really looking like they're in a tough spot, and maybe the whole
Yes.
deal is like a lot of people get trapped in this domain, so even people on your side are on trial. And so,
Yes.
I don't know, maybe it's not one at a time. Maybe you can it's like a whole bunch. And so, like, this is a last ditch effort. I hope my comrades are innocent, kind of
Yeah.
thing. But
Yeah.
I don't know. So, okay. Well, I remember in season 2, there was a big thing where I was going over how this could have been different, and how we could have shaped things up a little bit, and it could have made a meaningful change that really cleaned up the season. But I don't know. We're early on yet, so
Mm-hmm.
we'll see. Right now it's kind of one of those things you have to go in really just appreciating some of the really badass moments. There's some moments
Yeah.
in here that would make for a really good AMV. The whole
Yes.
Maki episode. It's like
Yes. Oof.
Kill Bill on steroids. It's
Yeah.
uh that's gonna make for a cool AMV, but
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. Is this what
It's sad.
honestly? Go ahead.
It's sad because I was just gonna say it's sad because you don't end up remembering those cool moments as much with a season like this right now. We're I think rightfully, or understandably at least, kind of in our complaints, and we're disappointed because on the flip side, there have been some really cool things in this
Yeah.
season, and there
Yep.
have been really great episodes. Obviously, the whole takedown of the Zenin clan was one.
Yep.
I really enjoyed like our intro to Fight Club, and all of that. Our reunion with Panda, as much as I
Yep.
hated it, Yaga getting killed was like, epic
Yeah.
heartbreak.
Yep.
And there were some
His little bit of
cool,
backstory.
yeah, and there were some great visual elements, and there was like an ending curse of like, I've told you the thing, and now you're gonna get hunted. And I was just like,
Yes.
oh,
Mm-hmm.
final revenge. So amazingly cool things. And obviously like our opening 2 episodes, but they don't leave enough of a lasting impression when you have these like big negative critiques, when
Yeah.
you're frustrated with the rest of the storyline.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame
Mhm.
because you're right. It's a lot of it's some of those things you mentioned that I didn't remember.
Right?
To your
Because
point.
they're
No.
Yeah, because they don't stick with you when you're frustrated at like, okay, now I have to remember this thing and I have to remember this thing, instead of like feeling like there's a cohesion so that you can like rest on like, well, I'm not really sure what's gonna happen, but this seems to be, pointing towards something.
Yeah.
So I can just kind of sit back and remember like, oh yeah, and that cool thing happened. I wonder what's gonna happen here.
Mm-hmm.
No. You
You
just
know,
feel too disjointed.
a different show would have taken half a season to take down the Zenin clan. Like,
Oh
you
yeah.
know, they're in
Mhm.
the way. and they're not pushovers. So you'd have the different brothers and stuff there, and we could take some time dealing with all those people. And maybe they're hunting, they're hunting Maki or whatever, or different stuff. I don't know. Like, it was over fast. Like, again, it gave you a good punch because of Maki and her sister, the way that was handled, and their father, all that stuff was good. And it's like, so then when she took revenge, it's like, yes, that's great. So it's a good way to do that, but it also doesn't move forward our plot at all.
Right. We haven't seen
Like,
Maki since.
Haven't seen Maki since. The Zenin clan, like, we would know that they're up to stuff. Like, it would make sense that maybe they're like trying to interfere in the competition somehow. And
right. Though, did you notice the subtitle in that?
Yes, like, short and
the next day, the Zenin clan,
is a wiped out. Yes,
yeah,
that was good.
That was funny because obviously, as a viewer, we know what happened.
Yep.
So, I mean, again, like these bright little spots, these moments where you're like, that was good.
Yep.
Get overshadowed when you're like, I'm still lost in this chaos of, okay, I've got to throw it over here. I have to remember rules over here. I have to remember, like,
yep,
Yuji's doing this, but he's also doing that. Like, Megumi's over here now. So,
yeah. Because, I mean, you see then this guy seems like he's pretty powerful, passion guy.
Yeah.
And that he's so interested in having Zenin clan on his side. But then Maki single-handedly wipes them all out. And it's like, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to be just incredibly impressed by the awakening of Maki. It's like, holy shit. She just like, she's on another level now. She's like Megumi's father, who's like the one person that can go toe to toe with Geto. Like, that's how badass she is. Or is it like we're misinterpreting that a little bit, and the Zenin clan is not as amazing as everybody thinks they are? I don't know, because they can make that mistake. They did that in completely unrelated. They did that in the Daredevil, Defenders, Iron Fist sort of Netflix, those shows or whatever. They had the Hand as the group. The Hand.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Group. And they did a really good job in Daredevil, like season 2, setting up how horribly dangerous they are. And they did this in season 1 of Iron Fist. Incredibly powerful, incredibly skilled. And then when we get to the Defenders series, they're kids. It's what are we doing here? So, like, did they mess up with what I'm saying is with the Zenin family? Did they mess up with the power scaling here?
Sure.
Or I don't know, but
I mean, I think that's certainly a thing to watch for, like a concern to have. And I think we'll get some kind of clue when we do see Maki again, whenever that is. Because I'm hoping she'll be going toe to toe with somebody and we'll figure out perhaps how powerful she is now, now that her twin is gone and she is treated like the singular entity. That'll be really interesting to watch and see how that's handled.
Yep. Okay. Well, there's a new episode out right now to watch. So you can go
true
see what you think about that. I think that I'm guessing if we can squeeze in an episode early next week, it's going to be a regular Popcast on the Rocks episode. But then anime will probably get back to Hell's Paradise, so we don't get too far behind on that.
I would like to. I'm really enjoying Hell's Paradise, so good.
Yeah, I know.
I'm a late comer to that show, but I really enjoyed my first season binge, and I've been enjoying the second season. So
good. Yeah, no, that's great. I know that's the one Ashley's more interested in watching, so we'll have to get on that. And then, how far are you in Frieren?
Just 4 episodes in.
Okay. Perfect. Well, great. That'll do it from us. That's Ohio Anime. Make sure you like, share, subscribe in all the places. If you listen on podcast directories, you can find us under Popcast on the Rocks. Podcast directories like Apple Podcasts and Spotify are going to have both the Popcast on the Rock show and our Ohio Anime Show under the one banner, Podcast on the Rocks. If you are on any of the services like Twitch or Rumble or X, you're going to find also all of our stuff under Podcast on the Rocks. So we live stream it all. And so that's where you're going to see our live streams. They're unedited and all of a sudden that's just what our live streams go up. If you live on YouTube, that's where you might find shorts on there, but then you segmented by Podcast on the Rocks, the YouTube page, and Ohio Anime, the YouTube page. So you got choices there. Wherever you live on the internet, it's got stuff available for you. Just like, share, comment, all those sorts of things. Killing the Flower, they wrote our main theme song for Podcast on the Rocks, so you should give them a follow on music streaming services. Mike, our friend Mike, he's like upping his like rate of content.
Yes, he
is. It's called like it's like Mike Bryant Racing now. I think you can still find him at Trackmouse34 on Instagram, something like that. But yeah, Mike Bryant Racing, way more videos and stuff out there now, so you can give him a follow. And then Peter J. Gilbertson, if you're looking for something to read, some short stories, you should check out his work on Amazon.com. And that's about all the things. If you want to support us, we have our coffee account. It's like KO-FI, coffee, and you can leave tips and whatever on there.
I always read it as Ko-Fi.
Yeah, I know.
Because I watch so much lo-fi that I just read it as Ko-Fi.
I know. But I think it's coffee, and they do coffee cups everywhere. And it's like,
I totally think you're right. My brain gets thrown for a loop every time I read it versus every time I hear you say it.
Yep. Especially, I don't know if it'd be worse or better separated. It's hyphenated like this. I don't know if it'd be worse or better not hyphenated, but anyways, that's there. Go ahead. So, Andrea, thanks for joining me on this anime adventure, and we'll see you right next time.
Sounds good. Good night, everybody.